Over the past couple of weeks, I've taken a lot of, heat for talking about Pete Hegseth being the Secretary of Defense and how he called a whole bunch of generals, and I mean the commanding generals, because there's a lot of generals out there, folks, but the commanding generals of various forces around the United States, whether it's Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, the head guys of those particular areas. He called them into Quantico for a meeting, a stand up, we call it in the military, and they had their senior enlisted folks with them. And he told them in no uncertain terms, gentlemen and ladies, woke in the military is done. And he was very vociferous about it and very pointed about it. Said, we're going back to becoming like we used to be, warriors. Because I made a point saying warriors have won wars. You do not, and I'll say it again, you do not socially engineer the United States military. I'm sorry, you may say that and say, well, no, we need diversity. No, we don't. Now they said, well, back in World War II, they didn't allow blacks. Yes, they did. Fortunately, they segregated them. This is how we ended up with the great Tuskegee Airmen, and who actually were astounding during World War II. And yes, I can tell you something else. If you talk about the Alcan Highway into Alaska, a lot of that highway was built by black soldiers because they sent them up to Alaska to build the Alcan, and they did it in record time. Well, all those folks were integrated into the military. So blacks, whites, everybody's the same in the military. And yes, women were not part of the military. As a matter of fact, as far as Air Force pilots go, or military pilots, they didn't start until the mid-1970s. But today, women pilots are everywhere. So yes, there has been that integration. But integration is different than allowing people who wear a dress and are a guy. Sorry. Transgender, I'm sorry. You just simply can't be who you think you are instead of who you really are. Now, that's pretty cut and dried. You don't understand that. You need to go back to being warriors. No more social education, no more diversity. And if you're going to appoint somebody and you're going to raise them in their particular position, you do it by merit, not the color of your skin, not because of what particular gender you happen to be. In the military, you earn your stripes by merit. That's what needs to be done. Now, things going on in the military. Well, you know what? I can talk about the Tuskegee Airmen. You realize a brand new trainer the United States Air Force is getting, they have named after the Tuskegee Airmen. It's called the T-7A. It's called the Red Hawk, because the Tuskegee Airmen had aircraft with red tails painted on them. That became their moniker, their style, their panache. But he identified it by that. Well, the new fighter, and I'll tell you what, this is an incredible fighter, is replacing the T-38 that I trained on. And matter of fact, I probably about 250,000 Air Force pilots all trained on that particular T-38. But now the new T-7 is coming in, and the T-7 is designed to be like the F-22 Raptor and the F-35. That's what's changing. Matter of fact, I've got a young man I've been sponsoring for a long time, met down in Florida 10 years ago through his father. His name is Reese Morris. Well, Reese is about to graduate from Florida State University, and he's going to go on to pilot training. And I hope someday that he gets to fly that T-7A, something I've never flown. Probably he's going to get to fly it. And nothing could make me happier. But I tell you right now, the military does not need social engineering. What Pete Hegseth said was correct. And by the way, something you didn't know, you realize that roughly 1/3 of the Secretary of Defenses that we've had since the late 1940s, 1/3 have never served in the military. Never. Pete Hegseth has served overseas with more than one tour. He's a major in the military, was a major, and he knows the military and loves what he does. By the way, as far as being physically fit, he is. And he wants everybody in the military to be physically fit again. It means you got to run the 1.5 miles and score bright. You got to look good, feel good, and be good. You got to be a warrior. That's what he wants. And I, for one, respect that. So I'll tell you right now, for those of you that say, well, we need diversity in the military. No, we don't. Mm-mm. Women are flying. Blacks are serving. It's the same in a foxhole. Nobody really cares. Your blood is basically red. Doesn't matter. The military is made of people who want to serve. And something you should know. Since Trump became the president, you realize the military is full with their ranks. You know, back under the Biden administration, we couldn't meet the quotas. We couldn't get enough people who wanted to serve in the military. Now, everybody wants to serve, or at least those who want to serve and are qualified to serve are being accepted. The ranks of the military are back where they should be, because our job in the military, whether anybody likes it or not, is to kill people and break stuff. That's what we do. Hopefully, we don't have to do it. But right now, what the Secretary of War is doing is telling all the generals, get in line, no more woke, and get in shape. Nothing wrong with that, folks. I'll stand by that any day of the week.